Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of the Jam and Cheese Show. Cheese, how you going?
Yeah, mate, I've been better. Obviously, we had a great week from New Zealand to Sunny Coast. Spent a lot of time together, and then the result kind of put a massive dim on the light. Not so much the result, but I guess the performance is what we're really gutted about.
Yeah, did the Cowboys shock you a little bit? Because I watched them against the Sharks the week before, and they were dreadful.
Yeah, they definitely turned up, but I've watched the Cowboys last year. A big fan of the Cowboys. I used to be there, so I watched a lot of their games, and they have it in them. They've got that side in them, but they just haven't been, putting the pieces together. And I think against us, I think we played poorly individually and as a team, but I think Cowboys played great in both those categories as well. So hopefully, as a Cowboys fan, not as a Roosters player, they start putting the pieces together better, because I've got a lot of time for Todd Payton. I've got a lot of respect for him. He was my old coach, and a lot of the players on the Cowboys team are my old friends. So hopefully that helps him propel their season, but not when they play us again.
Yeah, I guess from the outside looking in, Roosters full of quality. I predicted you to win the competition. I guess some of the things you look at, what affects that. That was your third game in 12 days with a lot of travel in between as well. And then it goes with you, and you were 2 from 3, or 2 and 2 going into that game. And then you play again early this week. I think it'll be 4 in 17 days. Does that play a part as well, do you think? Or that's just...
Not really. If I was going into the game feeling a bit bad, I guess I would say that might have been a factor. But, we were confident going into the game. The Roosters gave us every bit of time to recover, pretty light week. And I think just on the day we didn't turn up the way we wanted to. I don't think it's got anything to do with the schedule, although we'd like to have the schedule a bit better, I'd say. 4 games in 17 days is a bit tough, especially with this next one coming up, Panthers. At least it's an easy team. But yeah, it's how it happened, and I think we just got to be more mentally resilient than we were. I myself and most the other players, we all know that that sort of loss was on us, and that performance was on us. Everything else apart from that would just be excuses. So got to cop it on the chin and try to take on the back-to-back premiership winners next week. Well, on Friday, actually.
Yeah, well, mate, even that, anytime a team underperforms, everybody, starts sharpening the pencils with all sorts of stories to write about. And obviously, Suaali'I, he's going to rugby union at the end of 2024. Rumours circulating, a consideration for an early release. Yeah. I'm assuming that's just...
I think that's exactly what you said. Some players underperformed, and the pencils get sharpened, and the journos know when to attack when everyone's a bit weak. If Suaali'I was playing good, I don't think that story probably comes out. But as far as I know, everything's all good. Everything's sweet. I haven't heard anything about it, so I assume he's staying. I just don't see Trent or Nick Politis wanting to get rid of one of the best talents in our team early and give him away to rugby. But I'm not too sure.
I'm in agreement with you, mate. Just how good teams operate, they don't just react, and nor should they. So I think this is just a little bit of outside noise. And again, even looking at the Roosters, or even looking at the table as a whole, I discard the buys and the points for buys. I look at the win-loss ratio. You got the Broncos out on 8 wins, Souths on 7, then the Dolphins on 6 wins, and then there's 7 teams on 5 wins, 4 losses. You're in amongst that, the Sharks, the Panthers, and the Storm. So, there's a cluster of top quality teams there that you go on a run and you look back to this, I guess, indifferent start to the season, and it's old news. You know, you're still way in the fight, coming into it, and you know you go up against Penrith this week, but they're in exactly the same position as you.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of footy still to be played. I think we're not even halfway in the season yet, but I guess the disappointing thing about it is, like, we're losing games we should be winning, and we're winning games that probably are the harder games. So that's a good sign, but it's just when you want to propel to the top of the ladder and I guess keep your team on a roll, you need to win those games that everyone expects you to win. And I think, that's where we're going wrong. But you know, there's a lot of footy left. But yeah, I don't think it's time to write anyone off either. Like we were talking about the Eels before. They're definitely at the bottom of the bottom half of the ladder, but they string 3 games together, and if we won the game on the weekend, we would be third now.
Yeah. Yeah,
and no one would be talking about anything.
No, exactly. Yeah, and like looking at it, there's a lot of quality teams that are in a position to get a top 4 finish, which is vital. And even when you look at teams like the ones that have excelled early, you look at Souths and Broncos in particular, I think they're going to be disproportionately affected by Origin as well. So they might come back to the pack a little bit in that middle part of the season. So this race is wide open. I can't recall a premiership in my memory or a league table in my memory where it is so tight. With and not just tight on like, oh well, it must be the draw or the way it is, where it's like anyone can beat anyone. Like nobody would have predicted the Cowboys to go and beat you guys. Like I don't think anybody in their right mind. And as far as the Dolphins beating the Sharks, like
and the way they did it too.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive. They were probably my team of the week. Felice Kafusi up to his old tricks. But yeah, I don't know how Wayne does it.
On his 900th game.
On his 900. And he was saying that he's coached well over 1,000 that the NRL have not considered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I read something about it. He said he coached the Brisbane Brothers or something like that back in the days. So I wonder if it was significant for him. I reckon it would have been, but they definitely put in for him. And
he missed a couple of games with COVID. Do you remember when he got busted at that restaurant? He got busted at a restaurant and he was made to coach at home as well. So he would have had a couple more to his resume.
Does that not go on the tally?
I don't know. Anyway, like, fantastic win for the Dolphins, especially without Jesse Bromwich. Like, as soon as I saw he was missing, I know his level of performance isn't what it used to be, but he had so much to that team with his presence and his voice.
Yeah.
They were magnificent. The Dolphins against the Sharks, they just completely blew them off the park. Aside from the result, the experience of Magic Round, keep it in Brisbane.
Yeah, I don't know where else it could kind of hold it. I don't even know how the field held up. I was watching the games previous, and the turf looked absolutely trashed. And then we get out there, and it was an absolute monsoon when it started. The game started.
That was insane.
That was some of the heaviest rain I think of it. Like when I was looking at the kickoff, I actually couldn't really make out who the players were because the rain was that heavy.
Well, mate, I called the first game of Sunday, the Dragons v the Tigers.
Yeah.
Finished the game, get in the lift, go downstairs, getting Ben Dobbin got some stuff out the boot of a car. Then we were getting a lift from the stadium to the airport. As we drove, like you could see onto the stadium.
Yeah.
It was like just
It's the tropical weather. It's just I don't know what was going on, but it was so. It just started pissing down, and Drinkwater was telling me after the game they love playing in that weather. So
yeah,
we've had a few games in the wet and not really performed in them. But
would there be an appetite, you think, to take the game to New Zealand?
Yeah, I mean, if the stadium could hold it, there would definitely be an appetite. I think the fan base around the Warriors performing so well, is definitely lifting. I mean, the game it was raining and there was so much people at the stadium.
Yeah.
that we went to.
Mate, how good was that?
Yeah, it was crazy, and that's what you love to see. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one because Brisbane is the heart and soul of the rugby league at the moment. With I guess the fan base, there's 51,000 people on the stands pretty much every game.
Yeah, and I guess you've got to ask the question: would people be as willing to travel to New Zealand, like fan bases? I'm talking like from New South. I think they were saying they had something like 50 interstate visitors into Queensland specifically for the Magic Round. I don't know whether they have the appetite to fly across the ditch.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a big trip, but we'll never know, I guess. Unless we will know.
Unless we will know. We'll never know unless we will. Speaking of the Warriors.
The one.
The CEO of their major sponsor is like, somewhat accused the NRL. Well, I think he basically said, have the NRL been betting on the games? Actually, you know what? Let's read the tweet up.
Can he get in trouble?
Instead of paraphrasing, let's see. Are you kidding me? How biased are the @NRL bunker and referees against the @NZ Warriors? Have they got money on them to lose? It's like we are permanently against 14 on the field and they want us to play with 12. Huge courage from the boys, and then a couple of emoticons after that.
I saw they're investigating it, but like, is he able to get in trouble? Like, he's not like an NRL official.
It's just being a big fan.
Yeah,
like he's just a fan who happens to be the CEO of the company that sponsors the.
He's a rich fan.
A rich fan.
I'm sure the Mad Butcher would have something to say.
Yeah,
about the rest.
Yeah, he sure would, wouldn't he? I mean, look, I don't know what the NRL can do to investigate it. I know Graham Annesley today, or this week, has come out and said, and obviously dismissed the claims. But you know what? Geez, he would say that, wouldn't he?
He would say that. I mean, it would be nice if he didn't say it. It'd be hilarious.
It'd be like, listen, someone get to that guy. Because he's on to us. Or if like a betting slip just fell out of Annesley's pocket, like, whoa, don't look at that. Someone's got it on.
What are your thoughts though on that? Are we allowed to comment on that, or should we just
look?
I don't want names. They're coming for me.
No, of course they're not betting. I mean, look,
they're not betting on them, but
no. But
do you think the Warriors are getting a stiff end of the stick?
A stiff end of the stick.
Well,
wow.
The floppy bit's not going to hurt as much as the stiff end, is it?
I don't know what sticks you've been holding on to, Brandon, but usually...
I said stick, all right?
Yeah. Okay.
Is that even a saying?
No, I think you've made... I think that is new.
I'm sure it's a saying. Stiff end of the stick.
The hard end of the bargain. I don't know.
The hard end of the bar.
The Warriors, they're having a few calls go against them. There was a couple in your game that were a little bit like...
I did see Teddy knock the ball on right in front of my eyes. Yeah, but you play to the whistle. That's what good players do.
Ah, yes.
He picked it up and ran, and I was just looking at the ref going, you beauty. And at the end of the day, Teddy's not going to go, shit, I've dropped it, have the ball, boys.
Yeah. And then, look, they had 2 players sent to the bin against the Penrith Panthers. Look, I think the Warriors are doing fantastic over there at the minute, and that's what they should be focusing on. And the rub of the green will come for them. It will. Unfortunately, we're never going to get every decision right until we get robot referees.
Who's playing them this week? I'd hate to be that team because I dare say that with all this media, they might be getting some. Well, they might be getting some made up rub of the green.
You know what? Jeez. That could be the tactic
by the
Warriors, because Webster can't come out and say anything. Their CEO can't come out and say anything. So what you do because
put him on notice. They're just putting him on notice.
Just making people aware.
Yeah.
And then it subconsciously affects it. So if a like I know Des used to be quite when I was with Des Hasley, he'd be critical of the referees and like play that mind games to try and get decisions the following week. But then you end up getting fined as a coach or like an actual like official of the club. But then what maybe the Warriors have done, they've gone, we're getting dudded here. We need some calls our favour. We can't say anything.
Any Sydney fans out there?
But I know what.
I need you to make a Twitter.
What 1NZ? See, you know, high profile enough that it's going to generate traction in the media. You can't just have the fans going like, oh, we get dudded every week, because that's not that's not going to create it. But this has created a story. So maybe the Warriors...
This is all over the news. The Warriors are winning next week. Who are they playing?
Who do the Warriors play? Charlie? They play the Bulldogs on Friday night. Of course. I think that's what's happened. The Warriors have gone.
So it's all a conspiracy now?
Not a conspiracy. It's their way to generate
that definitely happens.
Subconscious bias.
That definitely happens. Like, with... Ricky Stewart probably does it.
Well, yeah, but
Ricky Stewart does it and gets fined.
Yeah, he gets fined. But old mate at 1NZ, he's not going to get fined.
Does this start a bad precedent of major sponsors coming out and complaining about
that's the way to do it. Save yourself 10 grand and get your major sponsor to do it.
I was going to say, I watched the Graham, the start of the Graham Annesley thing, and the week... whatever he does.
Yeah, his weekly.
Did you see Jack Whiten was contender for best try assist until he got it taken off him? Did you see that? He headbutt the ball, and what's his name picked it up and scored, and they took it off him. Maybe he's got a gig at Everton.
Hey, we won. We're outside the bottom 3, lads. 3 games to go.
Oh, is that you? So you're not relegated?
Not yet.
The mighty Burnley, they're coming up. They're coming back.
Yeah. We mentioned the Dolphins a little bit earlier. What about that youngster from your neck of the woods? Well, I say your neck of the woods. He's from New Zealand.
Is he a youngster?
Like 22.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought he was
Valence
old.
Tafare. What a name like. It is Valence, isn't it? Yeah. Valence Tafare.
Yeah.
What a name. What a player.
His name literally means the house.
The house?
in Māori. So,
does it?
Yeah, well, Te means da and Whare means house. So Valence the house. He's the bloody size.
Valence the house.
He's the size of a house. But yeah, I remember watching his Q Cup highlights last year, and he's fast. You know, he's actually ridiculously fast for his size. But all reports from the Dolphins camp is he's pretty funny. He's quite the larrikin, so hopefully he starts opening up when he gets a few more games together.
Well, at Triple M, we interviewed him after the game, and was like, "How's the week been?" It's like, "I've been lost for words." How are you feeling now? I'm lost for words. How are you feeling? Good. It's like, all right, fair enough. I get it. You know, it's his first game of NRL, but it was amazing to see him like up against Talakai.
Yeah,
like Talakai played well, but you're gonna have your hands full defensively against him. But that the debut try he scored, he took like 4 of them over.
Yeah,
and great story. Like
that first try he scored too was like not a hard. It was caught the ball standing still.
Yeah,
broke 3 tackles.
Yeah, and
not against like an average defense as well.
How good's the story though? He's groundskeeper as well. They fast.
He knew the turf well. Yeah. He knew exactly what he was doing on that. On that couche.
Yeah, he's an expert. That's why.
That's why he was standing still. He was reading the grass, reading the green. But yeah, he apparently. I've just a little rumor that. He's called Valence Smith because Wayne Bennett refuses to attempt his last name.
The house. He's got to be called
that. I don't like that. Do I look like him? Because Jared says I look a lot like him. So we got the same rigs.
Jared's been saying.
Yeah. Well, he was calling him Valence Smith as well, but not for the same reason.
Hey, how is Jared, by the way, after his little comments? He was saying, "I'll put one on you, bro."
Yeah, I think he's all right. He says that probably every game.
Do you reckon 10 years ago he just does it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I was watching a couple of games a while ago and someone put one on Hodges' chin and they just got a penalty. So...
Yeah.
Yeah. He always says he was born in the wrong era, which I'd probably believe.
Met Origin, not long or not far away. You go for Queensland, don't you?
Yeah, cut me open, bleed maroon, baby.
Do you, you remember where you live now, mate?
Yeah.
Do you reckon they should be favourites?
I don't know. As a bookie, you'd look at the I'm not a bookie, but this is what I guess. You'd look at the teams on paper, and then I would say you'd rightly assume that New South Wales should be the favourites on paper. But
the game isn't played on paper.
Exactly.
It's played on grass.
I was going to say the bookies can't measure Queensland spirit, baby. It's a living thing, and I think the way some Queensland players are going, like you got your Reece Walshes, Paddy Carrigan, Payne Haas can go to New South Wales, but those guys are coming through, and I think if I was to pick the favourites, I'd still say New South Wales, even though I'm a Queenslander.
Yeah,
because we love that story of
the underdog.
The back against the wall, so you just start swinging.
No one's given us a chance, boys.
Yeah, no one's given us a chance.
Look at the talent in this squad, and they still don't think you're going to win.
And if you're going to pick the Broncos, like there's a lot of players that they've been playing together that are going to be in the Queensland side.
Yeah. No, you're right there. Be interesting to see how all these subplots around Origin going into the first game affect each team, especially I think once the teams are named, the news stories are going to be dominated by New South Wales, who's in and who's not, where with Queensland I think there's only really one position.
What's that?
Fullback, that is. And even then, whichever, I think they'll probably go with Ponga, and it'll just be like, we pick and stick, he was man of the match in game 3. And then you shut that story down. Where New South Wales.
Who do you think?
Who do I think is going to win?
No, it should be the fullback.
For Queensland. Oh, God. I can make a case for all 3.
3? Who's the third?
The Hammer.
Oh, Jesus. He's making a serious case. But at the moment I'd have Walsh.
You'd have Walsh.
Yeah.
But
he is lightning, bro.
But I know he is.
Yeah.
I know he is, but there's more things to consider, isn't there? So like I think actually based on
I reckon he has to be in the side either
off the bench perhaps.
Yeah.
But if they
Ben
go
Hunt,
or Harry Grant, your old mate, I reckon based off the metrics that I think Queensland would look at, they'll go with Ponga.
Yeah. That's what I think as well. But I'd love to see him on the state. Reece Walsh on the state. Hammer can he find a wing spot?
Yeah, I reckon he could do.
Who's on the wing?
Cobbo. Maybe Xavier Coates.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
But again,
we're looking good, baby. We're looking good.
But again, like, look.
How can the bookies make the New South Wales the favourites? This back to this question.
Yeah, but they've got
without the teams even being announced.
Because they're going to make an educated. Because the smart punters would go to Ladbrokes and get on early. So if you after this conversation, cheese, we're going to cost our major partner Ladbrokes massive amounts of cash because people are going to load upon Queensland. You've just sold them the story. So they go, if now's a great time before the teams are named, because people do like to get in early. That's where the smart punters make their money, I'm told, is they go early.
Jeez. I'm so excited for Origin now.
It's not that far away. It's like, what? It's May 31st, the first one, so.
Is it?
Yeah, it's only like.
The boys. They got to get up for my birthday.
Your birthday.
Go. I forgot. That's
You forgot you were born on May 31st.
No. I've had my birthday on at Origin before. So. Do I get the bar? I got the bar on my birthday. Yes.
Watch out.
Yes.
Anyway, it is going to be an enthralling contest. But again,
Enthralling. Whoa.
Big word.
Have a go at
What's wrong with enthralling?
What does that mean?
Let's look it up. Have you never heard that word before?
Who's this front rower?
And I don't. Well, mate, I've used the word. I've got to spell it. E-N.
You know what? It just reminds me.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it's in my word. It's like come up after a couple of letters I've typed in.
Yeah, it's just it was.
Here we go. Enthralling. Adjective. Capturing and holding one's attention. Fascinating. An enthralling bestseller.
Yeah, sorry, I'm dumb. But this happened to me.
Holding of the attention completely. Fascinating. Spellbinding.
This happened to me the other day. I was in the spine meeting, and like you've got to be careful what you say, because like if the boys think you're trying to be smart, they'll laugh. And I said the word compelling, and Joey Marnie was just like, I was like, bro.
In what context did you use the word?
Like they put up some statistics, and I was like, oh, that's pretty compelling. And he was like, compelling, and I was like, bro.
Man, I just think, yeah, it's good to extend your vocabulary.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you next week what's been your most enthralling part of the week.
Captivating attention, is that what it is? Ooh,
well, I think if there's a word to describe state of origin,
enthralling. I'm going to use it.
Basically, they should move
How
out.
did you find the origin game? Enthralling.
It was enthralling. Whoa, captivated my attention for the entire series. So now it's time for some questions from the fans. They want to know how we feel, and this segment is brought to you by Tooheys. You know what I feel like, Cheese?
What do you feel like, Jimmy?
A Tooheys. Not just a Tooheys or two. So a big shout out to Tooheys for partnering us with this section. One of my favourite sections. Get some questions from the fans. So first question is from Brett Robb.
G'day fellas. Quick one for you. If there was any coach available from the current era, contract obligations aside, who do you think would be the best person to fix the massive problem at the Dragons?
I'll let you do this one. You've been around.
Do you know what I love about this question? And it's a phrase that has creeped into society when people just go, just a quick one. It's like, that's not a quick. That's not a quick one.
Nah, that's a discussion.
That's a big discussion. Just a quick one. And then what am I supposed to say? One name and then just leave it at that.
Yeah. First of all,
just Wayne Bennett.
First of all, his name's Brent Robb. It was just two first names.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
There is, Jimmy. It's untrustworthy.
Well, it's not just a quick one. You know where I'd go?
Who would you go?
I'd get Wayne Bennett back in there.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you because he's doing something special already.
And he's already been there.
Yeah.
So he knows the club. So he knows how to get success there. I think if the power brokers at the Dragons could wave a magic wand, or they got an ability to poach a current NRL head coach, I reckon they'd go with Wayne. Because he'd be most willing to go back as well. So you've got to factor that in. Most people go, oh, well, what about the Clearys, the Robinsons, the Bellamys of the world? So they probably wouldn't be as the care factor wouldn't be there. But I think with Wayne Bennett, he's got the experience of being there. So not that I think he will, but that's who I'd go with. Next question from Ethan Williams.
Did you enjoy playing on the sunny coast when Melbourne were in lockdown?
Yes, I loved it. The 2020 season, I loved every bit of it. It was sort of like going on a big resort with all your best mate. Well, it was a big resort. With all,
it was a little bit like
with all your best mates. There wasn't that much for me in Melbourne. Like if we were in Melbourne, we were stuck to our confined doors and wouldn't be able to go see anyone.
Stuck to your confined doors? Like literally they super glued you to the confined doors?
He's upset that I had to go at him for his big word.
Whoa. Well, mate, if you're going to watch me, I'm going to be listening to you.
Confined to the 4 doors. Sorry.
You're stuck to the
Four
door.
walls.
Imagine that. Just like they super glue you on there. Like, I can't go anywhere.
That's what it felt like. That's
Yeah.
what it felt like.
And then it felt almost like you're in a resort with all your best mates.
And then
That's
I
what
was
it felt a little bit like.
To be fair, I was. And yeah, we had a lot of fun that year. It was about coming together and trying to enjoy each other's company while trying to win a comp. And we won it in 2020. And then even in 2021, that was also another, great year for us. We didn't lose for 5 months. Like 5 months of winning football. We won 20 in a row or 19 in a row. And then, I just think they're some of my favourite years as a rugby league player. It was just because I love hanging out with my mates. It's probably my favourite thing to do. And got to do that every single day.
Did it ever wear thin? Or do you think that you ever wore thin on...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like small, did you ever have to do small doses? Because I know there's some of my teammates or former teammates that if I was confined to, or even on England camp, you're circle in and out of some people.
Yeah, I guess it was like that. After a game, you try to stay out of Justin and Tui's rooms because you're locked in there for hours if you attempt to go in there after the game. But no, you Christian Walshes, your Chris Lewis's, these guys you can just play games with for 6 hours straight. Played cards, and I don't know if you've ever heard of a board game called Catan.
No.
It's the best board game in the world. That game got, used a lot. Best years of my life.
How long did you have to get out of Melbourne? Was it you were on the clock, weren't you? It was pretty quick where you got the notice of
It was so, boss, we've got a 6 p.m. FaceTime at 4 p.m, I reckon. We've got a 6 p.m. FaceTime, and they were just like, all right, this is what's going down. The players are leaving. We've got to go to Sunny Coast. We've got to go to Twin Waters. We'll be there for 4 weeks. And then we left.
Well, hang on, when did you leave there?
As soon as we got back from... You know how they had that big break?
Yeah.
They had the 6-week break of the competition?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got back and then...
So text at 4?
Yeah, and then we did...
FaceTime at 6?
FaceTime at about 6. It was a real quick one.
And then when were you on the plane?
And then we were on the plane 9:30.
That night?
Yeah.
You got to pack your bags?
Yeah, it was straight away gone. But we thought we were only going to be there for a couple of weeks. And then that's why all the partners and stuff, they didn't come till after.
Right,
and then we found out we were in for the long haul. It was 6 months.
Did you leave anything at home that you thought, I should have took that?
Yeah, my toothbrush. Nah. No, but then our partners came and all the families come.
Yeah, nice.
Well, it's good. We had a good setup. Jerome's missus was a wife now. Jerome's wife was a teacher, so she taught all the little kids.
Yeah, nice.
Inside the school, and we got in trouble for a lot of playing volleyball because a lot of people getting calf injuries, so they had to blame something, as all rugby league clubs do.
Last but not least, Brody Stevens. What's your question?
Oh, another 2 first names.
Jammer, cheese, love your work, boys. But if a turtle loses its shell, is it homeless or naked?
Oh. It's ugly, I know that. What would a turtle without its shell look like? A little scrotum with legs.
Oh. I would ask the question, when would a turtle lose its shell?
I think it would be naked.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
Because I think it would still have a home.
Do turtles have...
They probably have a base.
They don't have a mortgage.
What's the rent like here?
Yeah, I don't think it's like a hermit crab. I don't think they just can... If they lose their... I think they're just goners, aren't they? You ever seen a turtle without its shell?
Nope, but I've not been looking. With all due respect.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's just Oh, it's probably dead.
Yeah.
So it's naked and dead.
It's ugly though. Could you imagine?
I don't know if its shell is its protection, so it's not going to survive for very long.
I just assume it would look like a very weathered willy with legs.
That is a description. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out of my mind. Anyway, thank you to Tui's for bringing us that segment of the show. I like the fans to ask how we're feeling, and I feel like a Tui's or two. And that just about wraps us up for the latest edition of Jam and Cheese. Cheese, pleasure.
It's good to be back. Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, we missed you I forgot, actually, we missed you last week. Big shout out to...
I think Nico Hines took over.
No, Jeremy Lattimore. Nico was on the interview show, pal. But yeah, that wraps us up.
That's a star-studded lineup. Jeremy Lattimore, Nico Hines.
We get them all on the buy round. All right, catch you next week.